Hello and welcome to another episode of Q&A. Today we have the honor of being joined by François Vergès, President and CEO of Sympheo. He has been doing Wi-Fi since he left school. Welcome, François. Maybe give the audience a little bit of background. Wireless. Where did I start?
Yes, so I started Wi-Fi right out of university when I moved from France to Canada. I live in Canada now. And so I built Sympheo Networks, and so we're a Wi-Fi engineering firm. And we've been building a Wi-Fi automation solution on the Mist API. And we're starting to play with agents now. So you're working with some MCP servers like the Mist one. We built our own MCD server to be able to allow us to work with different Wi-Fi tools like Muna and Vega. It's been a lot of fun. I'm happy to be a user.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I thought today we're both wireless experts, got out of school. I thought maybe we have a little discussion about this wireless automation journey we've been on for the last 20, 30, 40 years now. And as you mentioned, Agentic AI, latest hottest topic. All our customers have been doing some automation on top of APIs. You're in the business, automation. What's the difference now between automating on APIs and having these MCP servers built on our APIs? Sam?
Yeah, so the MCP servers, I feel like it's a new trend that we use to be able to have agents talk to one another, interact with. I kind of see it as an overlay to the APIs. So if you have a strong API base, then you have better MCP servers. But it allows the agents to kind of communicate with those ByteDance services in that easier fashion. It's interesting to see also how you can connect different tools. So what I'm anticipating to see is different vendors come up with their own MCP servers. And if you're in your company, you're working with Mist, but you're also working with Teams or Notion, that you'll be able to use different, MCP servers within these companies to be an agent that can interact with different tools.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good question because we're going through that same discussion right now. We basically built APIs for our customers to automate. Do our customers want us to build the MCP server for them? Yes. Or would they prefer to build their own MCP server? What do you think?
I think they're not sure yet. I think we're still into this. I'm trying to figure out this. For where we're standing as more of a consulting company, I think it's really great for us to have MCP servers with vendors because we can leverage them. But the reason why we've also built our own is because some of these tools that we work with, they don't have MCP servers yet. So we have to kind of create our own API interface into it so we can have agents use it. So I think we're kind of like in the transition phase right now. Maybe not vendors are ready for MCP servers yet because maybe their API is not ready yet. So to answer your question, I think we're still into that transition phase, and maybe everyone is trying to figure out this.
Because even in the business, like you said, since you came out of school, and I suspect you've been automating with Python scripts and ICIs.
Yes.
What do you see the difference between, okay, I've been automating on this very deterministic kind of platform.
Yes.
And now we're kind of moving into this agentic, non-deterministic platform.
Yes.
Is it letting you automate things differently or new things, or
Yes.
what's the difference between these two rules delivered it?
Yes, it's and for networking, it feels a little bit uncomfortable because when you are configuring networks, you want it to be deterministic. I don't want to bring the Wi-Fi down. You also want to validate what you do. So just letting an agent do everything feels very uncomfortable to us. So I think for what we do in the networking space, I think we still need to kind of build it in a way that the agent is doing what we want it to do, rather than just writing a prompt and then let the agent to figure out everything. So I think that's my personal thoughts. So you still have to kind of put like a guide rate on each place to make sure that the agent doesn't go crazy on you, because if the network goes down, then there's a bad.
Yeah, I think people are having that, they're trying to figure out where does deterministic automation fit?
Yes.
And where do we start to leverage this, I call non-deterministic?
Yes.
And how close are we really to bring this Waymo self-driving experience into networking?
Yes. Yes, it's interesting. The way we're building it right now is, whenever the user comes up with a question to the agent, then uh, instead of feeding it right away to the LLM, we try to understand, do we have any skills or any functions, if you will, that can actually answer that question in a more deterministic way, and then guide the user. So for instance, if you would deploy a USite, then you will have like a process that would guide the user through doing it properly. And then we would use the LLM for more general things, or as more as a fallback type of idea, to kind of get the best of both worlds. Yeah. But even to be honest with you, even with what we're building today, we're trying to figure out how we can do this. The way I see it is, any engineer, network engineer today, they can go and they can use code and they can write applications that do really fancy stuff really fast. But I think there's a big difference between building an application in code that you use for your own purpose versus building an application that the entire enterprise will rely on, right? You know what I mean? So for the application that will be used by the entire enterprise, I think we have to be a little bit more careful.
Guardrails,
Scale, privacy, pricing, right? How much is it gonna cost? So that's what I think. It's really cool that any engineer can vibe code anything. But if you want to deploy something serious in an enterprise network, I think you have to be ready.
That's why I think one of our customers basically said it's easy hard. Yes, it's easy to get the POC up and running. Yes, it's a little harder to get it scalable and cost effective. Yes, yeah, because I think we're all dealing with this new pricing change. Yeah, it almost feels like these big foundational model guys feel like drug dealers. They got you addicted to this thing, and now we're going to change the pricing on it. They charge you by the token.
Yes, exactly. The issue has changed quite a bit. We've seen large companies, stop paying for AI because they consume the entire AI budget, by May of 2026. So I think it's changing a lot of things and you have different solutions for that. But for what we are looking at us internally is we actually looked at hosting our own AI models, like on a real server, on a Mini or something, and tried to see that we could make it work that way. It wasn't fast enough for our liking, but we started to look at other models. You have I'm thinking about the GPT model Mini that allows you to
You're trying to learn your own models. You're trying to get these things.
we were trying to do the own models, but then it was too slow. So then we looked at the GPT Mini, which is like a smaller. It consumes less tokens, so for some functions it works. It works pretty well. So I feel like if you just go with the latest Agentic model, then your tasks are not going to go crazy. But if you fine tune what you want to do, and based on what the user is asking, you're figuring out, can I do it on my own? Do I have to use an LLM? If yes, which LLM do I use? You can kind of cater for your budget. It's a bit more work, but I guess at one point I think it's going to become very expensive, even more than what it is today. And companies like you mentioned, who started to kind of create their own tools and everything on those systems, they'll realize that it just doesn't make sense anymore financially. So they'll have to find other alternatives.
I think there's going to be an optimization phase of this. I always tell people, don't worry about get it to work.
Yeah.
Then it will cost, will cost optimize it. First mission is get it to work, and we will worry about this cost model.
What do you think? Do you think like the AI as we use it today would be reserved to like big companies, or do you think it will?
No, I think automation is going to change overall across the whole enterprise space.
Our customers have always are doing automation, with Python non-deterministic. Yeah, I think the big thing, this non-deterministic automation is the software QA is cheat. Like, the days of, here's my software, here's my unit test, please verify that it does what it does. It's a little bit different when we get into this agentic non-deterministic. When you start making changes, how do you validate that those changes actually made things better? Now, you're in the consulting world. I'd be interested in, what are your customers now? What are they asking you to
for help with right now?
Yeah, so what we work on is mostly the operations. So because we're a Wi-Fi focused company, we help them automate the Wi-Fi operations. So for us, it's what's important is, can you tell me if my site has been installed properly, all of my APs, all of my switches are up and running? Because sometimes they don't have the budget to go and send a Wi-Fi engineer to validate the site. So they want to have an idea of, when the installers have done bringing in the APs, is everything okay? Because if they have to send an installer back on site, then it's a lot of money. So we kind of build a solution that help them to figure out, is everything okay? Are the clients connecting? Are they, they're getting network access? If something is wrong, they tell the installer, please go check AP3. It's been installed on the wall versus the ceiling. It doesn't have enough POV, to make sure that when they sort of use the site, it's all great.
I would say, when I look what what's happening right now,
in my space, it's almost like the customer support team is becoming our programmers, right? And we are basically just taking run books and we're translating run books into skill files.
This is because that's where you find the problems, what the problems are.
Well, that's the domain expert, right, guys? Those people are the domain experts. And I'm sure you're playing with skill files now, right? When I look at a skill file, it's really just a prompt, right? It's basically going from programming in Python to programming in English. And that just opens up the door, England, if you write English. Yes. The domain experts cut out the middleman. They don't need engineers anymore. They're like, hey, I'll take care of this myself.
Yeah, well, I've done this myself too. Sometimes it's frustrating though, because when the AI doesn't give you what you've explained in it, yes, you have to iterate on it. It's not as simple as I'm just going to write a text. It's going to do it.
That's why I wonder, going forward, do I need computer science engineers or more English majors? It feels like the programmer of the future may be a little bit more artistic in terms of being able to understand these models, how we get the prompts written.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that they're building models that can create prompts for you. Maybe we won't even get spin a little circular, right? Yeah, they can decide their own content, so maybe they'll figure that out as well.
What's been the most exciting thing, in your career? So for me, this is like a major new era. It's like, okay, we have this new tool in our toolbox to automate things that we've never been able to automate before. What's the best story you have where you've actually done something you haven't been able to do in the past?
Well, for me, when I attended engineering school, I didn't like programming at all. So, and actually that's why I ended up in networking, because the networking major didn't have any programming projects. I was like, okay, that's for money. And then it's interesting that when I started to work, I went back to programming a little bit. That's what I mentioned, I've been with Python. So I could use some of what I've learned at school and apply it to my work, apply it to Wi-Fi. And I started to really enjoy it. And so now with this era of AI, it's to me, it's very interesting how, the industry is evolving. I'm interested to see how we use the AI, not just for the programming aspects and the applications, but also maybe how we can make the hardware better. And we could start with the AI APs, patterns, or tiny devices. I'm wondering how far we can take it.
As Wi-Fi engineers, we'll always compare what client issues and drivers issues and stuff. I'm starting to wonder, can we have AI help there in the future? So I'm really excited about seeing what's next. Not really worrying about what our job would look like in 10 years, but more being excited about the journey, where that takes us.
I think, the next generation of access points is going to add a little inference engine down there. The question is, what do you want to put on it? What would you do if I gave you a little small model down in the key?
Well, are you asking me the question?
Yeah. I'm giving a model here. You asked for it, now we're going to give it to you. What do you want me to do with this inference engine? I got my new access point.
No, we've always had, I think, the Wi-Fi, and we've always had issues with clients. So if we can have the AP better understand which clients are connected right now and which one to care for, maybe some clients are more time sensitive, so we can care faster. Maybe some clients are legacy clients. They don't need, fancy, QoS or whatnot, so we can cater to them differently. So if we can have the AP figure out that client side for us automatically with AI,
and have a, at the end of the day, have a better user experience, I think that would be me.
That is actually starting to happen. I think we can pretty much tell what type of phone. I think the piece we haven't really gotten done yet is we don't have the client, Apple, Android, IBM telling us what driver is down there. Okay. I mean, that's one piece of the puzzle I'm sure you and I goals have dealt with is, okay, Mix, you please tell me what the driver we have written down there, because it's always that driver and this the ASL piece that's causing a problem.
Yes. So, I mean, maybe we'll get there one day. And if the EP can figure that piece automatically with AI, that would be, analyzing the traffic or something. That would be really tough.
Okay. As you mentioned, you've been working with this for a good start time. You know that, we've been working on this client to cloud, Zoom, Teams, user experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Wireless is a piece of the puzzle. Yeah. But what do you think about the rest of the network? How often is wireless really the follow in your experience?
Yes, you're right. Not that often, I would say. We do a lot of Wi-Fi troubleshooting.
Less than 10% or?
Yes, I was. Yeah. And when it is, it's usually a client issue or a design issue. Most of the troubleshooting we do, we get called for troubleshooting. Wi-Fi doesn't work. Most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, is because they had a wrong design or no design up. So for us Wi-Fi engineers, not too complex. Maybe they have the one configurations, the channel use, the channel width, all of this. For the 10%, that's why usually it's more like a client issue. We have to do more PCAP and figure out what problem is. But yeah, for when we get called for that issues, it's I would say most of the time it's not a Wi-Fi issue really.
How about the WAN? How often does the WAN become?
Yeah, I think we have a big. When we hear from the users, it's usually they will just tell us Wi-Fi is down, but they don't really understand the difference between Wi-Fi and internet. Then internet equals Wi-Fi. So if they cannot go on the application, they'll just say the Wi-Fi is down. So I think what that has taught me over the years is that as a Wi-Fi engineer, you need to understand the network. So I always say we are network engineers first, and then Wi-Fi engineers. And even better, if you can understand the application layer, like, know your basis with DHCP part and DNS and all this, then, when you do troubleshooting, then it makes your life a lot easier than just focusing on layer 1, layer 2 for the Wi-Fi. So it's having an open mind when you work with Wi-Fi is very helpful. Yeah.
Most of my customers tell me that, they only have two problems. Either they can't connect or the Wi-Fi sucks or slow. That's usually what happens when you're starting your troubleshooting problem, right? Yes. You start from almost, you have no clue what part of the network's causing the problem.
Yes.
Okay, so what got you most excited? You've been here 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Is this wireless business?
Yes. But there's a lot of things. I've been, following the Wi-Fi protocol for a long time. I think what excites me is that we always looking at new things, new developments. If you compare, Wi-Fi, which is a layer 2 technology, to Ethernet hasn't moved, right, for years. But on the Wi-Fi hand, over the last 25, 30 years now, every couple of years we have new innovations and new things to move forward to. It's getting more complex, but it's also getting more interesting. So I think for us in the field, it's amazing because we are not getting bored. And then you have this new AI piece now that you have to plug it to the mix. So I think it's very.
So words of recommendation, next generation of kids coming out of school, this new agentic era. What would you do different now that you knew about all this agentic AI that we're working with?
Oh, I would definitely, study AI and see how AI could help you in your work. I would tell kids not to be too worried too much because, a lot of people right now, they're probably asking themselves what my job will get like in 10, 15 years. Just embrace, the technology today, see what you can do, focus on what you're interested in, and let's see where it takes you as well.
Well, François, thank you for joining us. Any last words to the audience? They want to get hold of you. What's the best way to stay in contact?
Yes, actually, I've been hosting a Wi-Fi podcast called the Clear to Send podcast with Bola Dionysiou. I've been doing this for 10 years. So if people want to learn about Wi-Fi, follow up what's happening in the Wi-Fi world. We interview some people sometimes. They can head over to cleartosend.net and they'll be able to
go back into the 380 plus episodes we've done so far and follow up, follow us and see what's next in the Wi-Fi ball. We'll talk about AI for sure as well.
Okay, enough watched any of them. I want to thank you for joining me. It's been great. I want to thank the QA audience for joining us on this episode and look forward to seeing you on the next one.